You're tuned in to Ask the Master Auto Technician. Car questions? Get answers right now. Call 850-763-0555.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.
All right, good. All right. All right, good morning, everybody. This is Friday Morning Show. Every Friday morning, we have Hansson Hindenburg calling all the way from Baytown Tires. And we talk about tires. We talk about keeping your car on the road, keeping it on the road safely. Because too many people out there, I seem to have forgotten, there's a lot riding on their tires. They go out there, they see the tires aren't flat, and that's about all they look at. They say, well, I got air in the tires, and I don't feel any bump when I go down the road, so everything must be good. But Hansson and I have both figured out that a lot of people overlook that just putting air in their tires causing a lot of problems out there. Good morning, Hansson. Does that seem to be a true statement about just looking at tires and thinking there's enough air just because they're not sitting on the rim?
Well, you got to look at the overall health of the tire. I think sometimes people just see the tread and go, well, you know, it still has some tread in the middle, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, we see that a lot.
Usually, you know, we try to look at the sidewalls, also the edges of the tire, which are where the tire usually winds up separating. Is really important to keep an eye on those different issues, weather cracking or dry rotting, as we call it. And also, you and I have talked about the age of the tire, which plays a big role in, you know, people sometimes wind up buying used tires and say, look, it's got a lot of tread on it, but the tire's 10 years old.
Oh, yes.
So it could come apart any minute.
We had a car come in yesterday. The guy was just beside himself. I got 4 brand new tires, and I looked at them, and there were 4 brand new tires, but they were all different manufacturers, but they were all 4 brand new tires. And I thought, okay. And then I looked at the age of them, and one was from 96, one was from 98, one was 2001, and one was from 2004. All 4 were brand new tires that came out of trunks of cars. From the salvage yard. They were all brand new. And he said, well, they're riding great. And I said, but Lord have mercy, you got tires on here that are almost 20 years old. You really shouldn't be driving like that. And he says, well, it's all I could afford. And I said, well, you might want to think about putting 2 newer tires on the back, because if one of those back tires blow out, and it happens when you're not prepared for it and unexpectedly, and you hit the brakes, you could go in, because he was in a 4-wheel drive Ford Bronco, and I said, you could flip over. And he looked at me like I was from outer space when I said, put the best tires on the back. Because he said, I've never heard of that. And I'm sure you have customers that tell you the same thing.
Well, and again, with the used tires, I was reading an article in one of our trade magazines yesterday about used tires. And the thing that they mentioned is, you know, the Ford Explorer was one of those turning points on used tires where people had to look at tires differently because of the, you know, the flip over of the Ford Explorer.
Well, and it was every one of the Ford Explorers that did roll over, that from a tire blowing out, was the tire that was on the rear. No Ford Explorer flipped over, according to the records that I could find, from a front tire blowing out. It's always been a rear tire that caused it to oversteer and for the car to turn sideways and then to flip. But yeah, a lot of people out there have just never heard of putting the best tires or the newest tires on the rear. And then I explained to him, I said, well, Hansson and I talk about this every Friday, how the Kelly Springfield, Cooper Tire, Michelin, they all say if you can only afford 2 tires, put your 2 newest tires on the rear and put your not so new tires on the front. And I've had people say, well, my front tires are more important because that's the ones I steer with. And I said, well, you can steer somewhat a flat tire on the front because you can steer the front end. But if a tire blows out on the rear, there's no steering. You just do exactly what they...
You're right. You all of a sudden want to jerk the vehicle in the opposite direction, which is, you know, that's intuitive for you to do. And especially on a top-heavy vehicle like most of the SUVs are, you have an unfortunate tendency to flip over, especially if you have passengers or other weight that you're carrying.
And that's so true. And, you know, it's kind of like, I think those are myths that we were all brought up with. We were all brought up to believe that if you put batteries on concrete, they would drain down. You couldn't charge up batteries on concrete. We were always told that, you know, to make a car run cooler, just remove the thermostat, which would be all right for the car, but that's not true too. It makes the car not want to shift right and burn can burn a transmission up. There's a lot of old wives' tales out there that, well, you and I were taught that aren't necessarily true, and putting the best tires on the front is one of them. That is one that, well, I think we've been doing a pretty good job of educating customers about it, but even some tire stores have called me up over the years complaining about torquing wheels with a torque wrench. They tell me that's not necessary if they have a torque sticks, and then I say, well, it is necessary, and then they say, well, then the best tires shouldn't go in the front, but so far they haven't been able to find me, shouldn't go in the back, but they have not been able to find me any documentation from manufacturers to say the best tires should go on the front.
No, I mean, every manufacturer recommends that, and they've spent literally millions of dollars and, you know, on the test track testing the tires. And I've actually been in vehicles where they tested this theory. They make you go around in a circle that actually has water in it, you know, to make the more slippery situation. And when you come around that corner, that backside wants to slide if you have the older tires on there.
It sure does.
And, of course, you know, unless you're trained to steer with it, the tendency, like I said, is to jerk against it. And that's usually when you have, you know, either a slippery situation, or even, like I said, we drove some heavier vehicles like a truck, and it has a tendency to really want to go out of control almost.
Right. Yeah, and I was telling someone the other day, I said, what's the first thing you want to do when you start losing control of your car? And they said, well, touch my brakes, I guess. I said, slow down. I said, well, if you do that with the rear end coming around, you're going to flip. You're going to flip the car over. And I said, the reality is, if you practice it, when a car starts, the rear end starts supposed to go around, you don't hit the brakes, you hit the gasoline and actually power through it to come around. Now, that may be contradictory or counterintuitive, but that's the only, you see race car drivers on the Daytona 500, they're sideways, and the rear tires are just a smoking. Are they smoking because they're sliding? No, they're smoking because they're spinning those tires, trying to accelerate around to straighten out to keep from flipping. And that's what they're trying to do. And I think I had a couple of people I explained that to, and it kind of made sense to them. But I don't know if you've had any better luck than that than I have over the years.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. Like I said, you know, the first intuition is to hit the brakes and start jerking the steering wheel, and that's the absolute wrong thing to do.
Yes.
And, you know, they've done studies where they actually had, you know, skilled drivers and regular amateur drivers, and it makes a huge difference on how they handle the situation in the same vehicle.
Absolutely.
One vehicle almost flipped over. The other vehicle looked like, you know, it was just going for a Sunday drive.
But tires, there is a lot on it. And now what we see a lot of, I would venture to say 95 to 98% of the tires that come in here have at least one tire that is 7 to 10 pounds lower than it should be. I mean, at least one. I see them, every car that comes in here is at least 2 or 3 pounds low, but because we'd like to put them at 40 psi, even though they may call for 35 or 36, we put them at 40, because the next time we see them, we know they're going to be down to 25 because they don't check the air pressure in their tires between oil changes, and we see that often.
And a lot of people are reluctant to do that. They say, well, it's supposed to have 32 pounds in it, and, you know, I said, if you put 35 to 37 in it, at least the light will come on less. Because, like you said, people don't check.
They don't check. I mean, I had a customer come in the other day. In 5,000 miles, he was 2 quarts low of oil, and his tires were 10 pounds low of air. And I said, didn't I remind you to tell you to check your oil every time you get gas, or at least once a month? And he said, yeah, you did. And I said, and in 5,000 miles, you use 2 quarts of oil, which is not abnormal. That's a normal condition on her little Mini Cooper, his Mini Cooper. Uses about a quart of oil about every 1,500, 2,000 miles. And I said, so that's not abnormal, but you can't run them low. You need to check them. You need to be up there where they're supposed to be. And please check your tires. Well, they say, I got a tire pressure monitoring system. I said, that's why that light's on your dash. It doesn't pump the tires up. You've got to put air in the tires. And they kind of look at me like going, well, that doesn't do me much good. I got to go out and do it. I don't even know how to do it. And I said, well, when you see that light, come here. I won't charge you a dime just to put air in your tires, and I know you'll do the same thing at your shop.
But like you said, and a lot of people forget that, you know, they want to go 8,000 miles before they check the oil. And if the oil light comes on, it's really too late.
Ooh,
Same with the tire light.
Oh.
You know, the car is really too low, the tire is really too low on air.
Yep.
So I would always recommend, and people hate to do it, maybe every couple of weeks. And, you know, we here try to help people and say, hey, just stop by.
Yeah.
We'll check it for free for you. No problem.
I got people all the time that tell me, well, I can't get my tires filled up because every place I go, put in 50 cents or whatever, it doesn't work, whatever. I said, if you suspect your tires are low, come by here. I will fill them. If you're a customer of ours at James Auto Center, even if you're not a customer, we feel that's our obligation to try to win your business over, and we will make sure your tires are full of air. You know, that may take 10, 15 minutes, but we do that as a public service, as a safety, because I've seen too many people out there with low tires, and I can look at them going down the road. You see one rear tire almost on the rim and the other one perfect. I'm going, this guy's not long for the world on that tire. Something's fixing to give, and I don't want to be in the line of travel when that tire does blow out. It can be very dangerous.
Well, what always amazes me, too, is we see a lot of Toyotas, and people come in, man, the tire light's been on. I've been to 2 or 3 places. They've checked the air.
Yeah.
And I go, I know exactly what you need. So we climb under there, we fill up the spare, and the tire light is off.
It's amazing. Toyotas are one of the few cars I know out there that have it on all 5 tires. What are some other manufacturers out there? Because I don't know of any other.
Chrysler does it on some of their vehicles.
Okay.
Jeep does it on, which is a Chrysler product.
Chrysler product, right.
On some of their vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Mercedes that do have a full-size spare, put a tire sensor in there as well, which are far and few in between.
Right.
Most of the Mercedes don't even have any spare.
No, they got 2 cans of Fix-A-Flat in the back, and they say, that's it. that's your spare tire, Fix-A-Flat. And I go, what? My wife's Crossfire, it was made by Mercedes back in 2004 for Chrysler, and that's what her spare tire was. I looked at it, I said, they give you 2 cans of Fix-A-Flat. She said, that's the spare tire. I went, okay, I guess that's how it works.
Which I promptly threw away.
Which she promptly threw away because we don't keep, that's like a little bomb.
That's
like a little bomb in your car, you know. I'm always afraid those things are going to blow up, out of sight, out of mind. But your cars can get up to 130, 140, 150 degrees sometimes, and I don't think your pressurized cans could be very safe in your car on a hot day. You know?
No,
that's one of the reasons.
Especially over time, I guarantee you they want to.
Yeah, things are going to break. But one of the things we do is we get our tires from you, and her tires last on her car, I want to say she gets about 25,000 miles out of them.
About 3 years.
About 3 years, and maybe a little less. But we get tires over there from you, and they do a really, really good job. And y'all can mount them, balance them, and y'all even do the low profile, the run flat tires. Y'all can do all those tires?
Yeah, we do. I mean, a lot of vehicles, you know, that you don't even expect that are doing run flats these days. So it's a pretty common practice. People still ask us all the time, you know, are we familiar with the
and you have to have
EMS monitoring system and things like that. And we have, you know, computers to reset almost every manufacturer from Bentley to Volkswagens to
it's gotten easier.
Chevy truck.
It's gotten easier over the years. It used to be very complicated to do, but they've got it now where it's just like, you know, having a little wonderful computer in your hands. Fantastic. And I know you have the tire machine that's capable of doing that. You showed it to me when I was over there. It was a special tire machine you bought just designed for run flats, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. You know, I mean, it really takes a special machine to do it correctly.
I don't even think I can.
Tires,
I don't think. Yeah.
That's where the rim gets mangled is because you put it on the tire machine that's really not made to handle some of these rims.
I don't even know if my machine, which is a lot like yours, it's, you know, from the top and everything, I don't even know if it can do run flats because, like I said, some of these tires take specialized training and equipment, and I know your crew goes
Well, some of these fancy SUVs that, you know, are coming from the manufacturers with 24s on them. So, you know, that's not uncommon anymore. Some of the Cadillac Escalades have 24-inch rims on it from the factory.
Wow, that's hard to believe. I got to put, biggest thing I'm worried about right now is putting bigger tires and wheels on my bee trailer where I can move my honeybees to pollination. I'm trying to get the elevation a little bit where I won't break an axle running down a dirt road.
And even that, you know, we do a lot of custom rims for trailers, boat trailers especially. People have a nice boat. They want to put something better than their old, you know, galvanized steel rims on there. We do a lot of that, and we do a lot of trailer tires, too, and because people have a big investment, and they want to make sure that their boat trailer doesn't flip over if they have a blowout or something.
That's right, because, as I said earlier, there's a lot riding on your tires out there. That brand new boat out there that only costs you a mile, $50,000, $60,000, you know, you want to make sure you don't flip it over. Anyway.
Yeah. Now, don't you do RVs as well? Can't you get RV tires?
Yes, we do. You know, we do quite a few RVs as well, like campers.
Yeah.
I got to go. I'm up against a break. We're going to go. I got to go, Hansson. I'll talk to you next week. Thank you so much.
See you later.
All right.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye, everybody.
beep. James Auto Center. We fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.